uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. H-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know WCS is back in the building. Big shout out to Dodge J in the building. Salute to you. Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good with it? Arnold Brown in the building. What's good? We're gonna get this, early morning rise out the way. Hot Grease Chronicles EP 409-2024 over. You know what I'm saying? The big question is who's next for Crawford. And in the meanwhile, we already have the same usual suspects trying to get their ticket stamped to the big dance. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get their ticket stamped to the big dance. And you know who that person is. And many others. You know what I'm saying? And many others. But I want to start this off by talking about one of the prospects that was on the rise and still is on the rise, in my opinion. I ain't gonna lie to you. What some L's was taken. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about Jaleel Hackett. He lost his first fight this past weekend. And there's a lot of people talking about it. And I'm like, why are y'all talking so much about Jaleel Hackett now that he took his first loss rather than when he was in there fighting and giving you all a show when he fought Dobson? It says out of Boxing News 24, promoter Eddie Hearn blew his stack last Saturday over the flack he received online from fans over his two-match room prospects Jaleel Hackett and Mark Castro getting beaten on the zone card in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hearns was in a state going on a rant for a full 6 minutes on the topic and looking like he needed to be sedated. I don't know why. It was obvious that Castro and Hackett was destined to lose because they were not major talents. It's a little surprising that they were both beaten on the same night by a second-tier fighter. How can Hearn not know? Welterweight Hackett 9-1 and 7 KOs lost a 10-round split decision to 31-year-old Puerto Rican fighter Jose Ramon Vasquez, 14-1-6. I know when you look at the numbers, y'all, it looks bad, but sometimes these veteran fighters who's not so much of a veteran, if you know what I mean, Jose Ramon Vasquez, 31 years of age, either started the sport late or boxing wasn't his full-time job. You know what I'm saying? It goes on to say this was supposed to have been a piece of cake for the 21-year-old Hackett. But man, he was found out quickly by Vasquez and out-hustled in the second half of the fight. When I was looking at that fight, I thought for sure that the 31-year-old Ramon Vasquez was going to start to fatigue. I thought his gas was going to be on, E a little bit, his gas tank, and the little youngin, Jaleel Hackett, was going to be able to power through. But it didn't work that way. And it's not so much that Hackett was tired, because I like Jaleel Hackett's fight style. You know what I'm saying? I think it's entertaining, but he does the same thing remediated over and over again sometimes. He just come forward. I understand you trying to get a crowd pleasure, but you just come forward all the time. And sometimes you just need to just be patient and pick your shots at distance instead of just coming right there. You coming in right through the front door, man. People are going to start, timing you. You know what I'm saying? Lining you up. It says, the opinion of people around my mindset, is really the clear difference between a loser and a winner. If you can't beat those level guys, you aren't, or you weren't good enough on the night, said Eddie Hearns to IFL TV, reacting to Matchroom fighters Mark Castro and Jaleel Hackett's upset loses Saturday night in Puerto Rico. People were going, that's a bit harsh. Grow a pair. Listen to me. If you want to be in the game, you got to prove you're good enough to be on these cards and at this level, Hearn continued. Mark Castro has had 4 10-round championships. This was his 5th 10-round championship fight. Quintana, that he boxed 20-2 from Argentina, who they chose, we sent them 3 opponents, and that's who they chose. You have to be beaten, Quintana, if you are a world-class fighter or anywhere near it. Quintana is not at that level. If you've seen Castro and Hackett fight before, you could tell that either of them was destined for those titles. You knew this was going to happen sooner or later once Hearn matched either of these guys against halfway decent fighters, but they both lacking. It goes on to say, in quote, Keyshawn Davis is 12-0 and is about to fight for a world title. Mark Castro beat him in the amateurs. Mark Castro beat Raymond Ford in the amateurs. You have to be beating the lower level fighters. Quintana arrived around midnight on Thursday night. Friday morning from Argentina. He ended up flying 30 hours around the world. Mark Castro was 8-1 to win that fight. You've got to stop with all these idiots here. Oh, you got these guys, Castro and Hackett, beat. No, they lost because they weren't good enough. Jaleel Hackett fought a guy, Jose Ramon Vasquez, who is 10-1 from Puerto Rico and very limited. Jaleel Hackett was 8-1, 9-1 on to win the fight. Jaleel Hackett effed himself at the weight. You saw it. Everyone saw it at the hotel. And that is a lack of professionalism that is going to cost you victory. He also busted his hand in the fight. He lost a very close decision. This is in quote now. This is not me talking. So they're really giving you the non-line report on Mark Castro and Jaleel Hackett. And what was I telling you all about Jaleel Hackett? his last fight with Dobson is that, man, he looks bad. Like somebody did an interview with him before he started the rehydration process, and I'm like, man, he doesn't look right for 47. He's really looking done. You know what I'm saying? Withdrawn in, you know. And I try to tell you, this is a perfect example of not wanting to move up because you think this is the vision where they can get a title shot. Where if the body is growing, the body is growing. You know what I'm saying? Jahal Tucker had to move up because his body was growing. Xander Zayas moved up immediately from 47 to 54 because he went through a growth spurt. You know what I'm saying? Jahal had to keep on moving up 47, 54 to 60 because his body was growing. I mean, hey, you know, it goes on to say, I said to him tonight, you either got to get it right professionally or you got to move up in weight. This is a brutal sport. I'm not going to spoon feed you until world championship level. I need to find out how good you are if I'm going to stick all the money and take you all the way to the top. Well, who does that sound like? You know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn's going off on people. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn seems like he was catching the wrath. You know what I'm saying? Another quote from Eddie. I got a couple of DMs. Oh, Eddie Hearn's got a prospect beat on the F off. If you can't beat those guys, you're not the fighter. I thought you were. And okay, let me back up. If you can't beat those guys, you're not the fighter I thought you were. And if you lose tonight, if not the end of the road for it's not the end of the road for you. You got to rebuild and come back better if you don't want to watch competitive fight. If you don't want to see prospects tested just a little bit when they're 8-1 on the 8-1 on, F off. And don't watch my shows because I'm going to give you real fights. I'm going to give you entertainment. Eddie trying to do damage control. Guess what? Sometimes when people aren't good enough and they underperform, they're going to lose. Not every prospect is going to go on to be a good champion. But if you spoon feed them and never put them in anything competitive, once it's a product, 2 is going to be a con for fans. And 3, you're not doing the right thing for the fighter. When they get to the top, they're not going to be good enough. Eddie Hearn found out tonight that they ain't good enough. You want me to keep it real with you. Mark Castro, you were not good enough tonight. If you perform like that, you are not going to be world champion or real that level. I'm reading them. It's not my broken English. I'm reading what I'm reading. Jaleel Hackett, if you don't make weight professionally, you're not going to be at guys like that. I'm telling you what's on there. It's not me, y'all. I've been kind of, you know what I'm saying, walking in the gravel reading this article, all this damn non-editing. You're not going to be at guys like that. Who you should be strolling though? Facts. Grow a set and quit messing around the subject and be real with people. Sports. You get beat if you're not good enough. You don't just make matchups. There are shit that you can't lose. It's for the sport. It's for the prospect, said Hearn. They must be using Chat AP shit. This won't be the last time the Hackers get beaten. If Hearn is going to match him against fighters with a bit of talent, he's not good enough. Even when Hackett was fighting sub-level fighters, he was taking a lot of shots. And I was like, this guy's heading to defeat once Hearn takes him out of the protection program. Sure enough, it happened. And Eddie is going nuts right now. Oh, boy. So give me a minute. I want y'all to take a listen to Eddie Hearn going nuclear. And I can understand why, Hearns is upset. Real talk. Let's see what Eddie has to say right now.
A bit of stick online for Jaleel Hackett and Mark Castro's defeats tonight. Just your response to that?
Yeah, my response is, I think this is the difference.
Hold on for a second, yo. My fault, I'm back, man. It's real bad weather over here. Okay, listen in.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFL TV. That scorecard.
I know. I mean, when I got in the ring after, Brian Peters and a few of Liam's team came over to me and went, "Do you think we might have nicked a draw from the last?" I was like, honestly, no. Like, I got it 8-4. I mean, 7-5. And I'm gutted for Liam because we're close to the team. But for Richie, I'm so pleased for him because when he came to us from Mayweather
Richie? Is that you got?
Richie. Yeah.
Richie. He's talking about Richardson Hitchins. Just for you American fans over here. I'm not saying for you to call him Richie, but Eddie Hearns came up with the name Richie.
I do call him Richie. You got a problem, Matt? You
No,
prick?
just wonder.
Keep your mouth shut.
Continue.
It's not a fucking joke, Joe. You want to
Richie?
be? You want to be a real member of the
Richie,
media?
I've never heard one person call him Richie. in my life.
Everybody calls him Richie.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but you wouldn't know because you're not in the
Well,
inner circle.
well,
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie Hearns say everybody call Richardson Hitchins Richie. I thought they called him Africa, even though he said you have to know me to call me Africa. But
Just a pleb.
he's actually called
stop
Africa.
it.
But,
That is his nickname.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, right, he came to us from Mayweather Promotions. He was completely out of the game. He'd been inactive. He'd fallen out of love with the sport. I believed in him. We kept him active. We gave him great fights. His headline cards. He got to a mandatory position. And I've got to say, fair fucking play to Liam Paro, because rather than take a voluntary defence that no one really wanted to see, he went, let's clear the mandatory and try and land he should do next, because I think a fighter of Richie's quality should be fighting those guys. Valenzuela, obviously we've got, Catterall.
so you're taking a bit of stick online for Jaleel Hackett and Mark Castro's defeats tonight. Just your response to that?
Yeah, my response is, I think this is the difference. The opinion of people around my mindset is really the clear difference between a loser and a winner. All right? If you can't beat those level guys, you aren't or you weren't good enough on the night. Right? People are going, oh, that's a bit harsh. No, fucking grow a fucking pair of nuts. Right? Listen to me. You want to be in this game, you've got to prove you're good enough to be on these cards and at this level. Mark Castro has had 4 10-round championship fights. That was his 5th 10-round championship fight. Quintana, that he boxed, 20-2 from Argentina, who they chose, by the way, the team, right? And we sent them 3 opponents. That's who they chose. You have to be beating Quintana if you are a world-class fighter or anywhere near it. Quintana is not at that level.
Would you compare it to the amateur wins that he had over Keyshawn Davis, for example?
Look, Keyshawn Davis is 12-0. Right? He's about to fight for the world title. Mark Castro beat him in the amateurs. Mark Castro beat Raymond Ford in the amateurs. You have to be beating people. Quintana arrived at about midnight on Friday morning from Argentina. He ended up flying about 30 hours around the world. Mark Castro was, 8-1 on to win that fight. You've got to stop all these people, these idiots, yeah?
idiots.
You've got to stop with you're getting these guys beat. No, they fucking lost because they weren't good enough. Jaleel Hackett fought a guy who is 10-1 from Puerto Rico, very limited. Again, Jaleel Hackett was 8 or 9-1 on to win that fight. Jaleel Hackett fucked himself at the weight. That's what he did. You saw it, right? Everybody saw it in the hotel. And that is a lack of professionalism that's going to cost you victory. He also busted his hand in the fight.
I didn't want to go through the whole one, but you get the point. I just wanted to highlight Jaleel Hackett. I was really rocking for him to, get the rise, but, the rise up through the ranks and everything and get that shot sooner or later. Well, ultimately, Jaleel has been on a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? He was over there with Mayweather Promotions. I remember seeing him standing next to Mayweather when he was in Atlanta, and they was grooming him to be the next big, PR grooming. That's the fighter that I said, Jaleel Hackett right here. I seen them grooming him after the post-fight conference. They had him in the freaking media room going through the format and everything, but that didn't work out. On paper, 31-year-old, I won't call him a journeyman, but obviously he's not taking boxing full-time serious if he's 31 or he started late. Jaleel should have beat this guy, but sometimes you just can't remediate the same, the same routine, when you box. You just can't, press the gas and don't turn the wheel. You got to turn the wheel left or right every now and then. You got to hit the brakes, throw it in, reverse, turn right, come in at this angle, you got to do some different things instead of just walking right down linear and getting lit up. And I told y'all this not too long ago about Jalil and the way he looked last fight when he was all drawn in. I mean, that's just not the way to be healthy. And I'm saying the same thing about Ennis. Ennis is gonna end up just like Jalil Hackett if you don't move out of 47. You know what I'm saying? These weight cuts it's no joke, bro. You got organs. You got shit going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the News by Shaw News Sauce Experience with a $2 super chat on deck. We rocking with Africa. Shaw News Boxing hit the light. Yeah, we rocking with Africa. I mean, I ain't never heard nobody goddamn call him Richie. That seems like a UK thing, that's me. Eddie Hearn thing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody call him Richie over here. He ain't walking through the streets of New York. And hey, Richie, what's up, Richie? Like he's an Italian and shit, man. Oh, bro, ain't nobody calling him freaking Richie. Man, first of all, he probably swing on y'all niggas, but you signing his check, so he being cool about it. Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease in the building. What's good with it, brother? Salute WCS, my big bro in the chat. What's good? Boxing Nerd 101 on deck. This is the fact. Eddie Hearn, so Boxing Nerd, you come over here, can't even speak to the host or nothing. And I guess you over here for some smoke, huh? It's good you finally returned. You know what I'm saying? It's good you finally returned back over here talking all that Boots hype. You know what I'm saying? Being that Boots just didn't live up to it. I understand. I hope you ain't too angry, though, because it's Christmas month. Christmas right around the corner, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? People just come over here, don't speak to the host and nothing, like they mad. I'm like, come on, man, what you got to be mad about, Shawty? I mean, come on, man. Get to something that's more productive. George Kambosos and Richardson Hitchins has been going at it, y'all. I'm talking about it's a full-blown X-15 rounder. They have been going at it online, man. Richardson Hitchins, his first title defense, he is putting it out there and let it be known that he wants George Kambosos. So for those of you that's been following along, let's get it, man. So Richardson Hitchins, salute to him winning his first world title at 140 pounds. Man, I'm happy for the newly crowned IBF world champion Hitchins. For a minute, he was getting lost in the shuffle, bro. For a minute, he was being lost in the shuffle. Let's get down to some of these exchanges that they was having. Let's start right here. Hitchins to Kambosos. I'm waiting for you in NYC, you bum. Right here at the bottom. Kambosos said, congrats, mate. On your biggest day, you're drinking. You're thinking of me. Haha. I knew you would, you miserable dork. Rent-free, living rent-free in your little brain. Now you can pay your rent. Bro, you're boring as F. Let's be serious. You're like the Wish version of Devin. Loved the running last night. Stand and fight. Haha, yeah, right. No worries, New York. New York, no problem. I'm 2-0 there. Strip belts off. Big mouths, they're easy. New York love me more than their new champ. So enjoy it. I enjoyed this scenario before. See you soon. Well, one thing I can say about Kambosos, it's quite early in the morning, Mike. And no one's loving you over here in New York just because you beat T.O. Because they finding out if they really love T.O. You know what I'm saying? Unconditionally. So just because you had a fight over here in New York, stripping belts, what belts have you stripped besides getting it in one bulk load? I mean, but one thing about it, I can say Kambosos, he made pretty good money, on his run. He did when he beat Teofimo, and then he had 2 runs with Devin, which he lost. He talking about 2-0 in New York. What about 0-2 in Australia? You know what I'm saying, against Devin Haney. Then You know, he had the opportunity to fight for the vacant IBF. You couldn't strip a belt that wasn't on a champion's waist, and Lomachenko stopped you. Anyway, let's go on to the tweets. George Kambosos said, "You do know it's 8 a.m. in Australia, you peanut brain. I just woke up in my big ass mansion. Now let's go rent free on your biggest day." I'm not gonna say Kambosos, he talking this shit on his ex. You know, he's pretty decent. He's pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? He says, "Getting out of bed ready because I just knew I was living in shit chin's brains rent free on the biggest day. He thought he was slick trying to get me at 4 a.m. Nope. Did he ever learn about time differences in other countries? You have 4 hours of grace. Now I'm back like the taker." Okay. Kambosos is talking this shit early in the morning. I ain't gonna lie, you know. Hitchins said, "First of all, tell me congratulations." You know what I'm saying? First of all, tell me congratulations first and brush your stink ass tongue. I smell it from across the pond. And do you want to fight or no? I'm trying to see something right quick. How does that even make sense? You can smell. You're such a dork, nah. That's the Louis Vuitton perfume. I'll buy you one after I take that belt. The answer is yes, 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 like taking more candy from another big mouth New Yorker baby. You should be trying to enjoy the moment. Rent free, baby. It's on. Don't go back on your word. So they're talking up a fight, man. You know what I'm saying? It's working out pretty good for them. They talking it up. I mean, I don't see too much because it's between one black and one non-black, and it's been pretty decent. You know, the Australians love using, you know, the word cunt and stuff like that. Richardson say, "No, you must know something. I don't know why you talking like that." Yeah, I do. Don't worry about the big man's business. You do what you told. Enjoy the moment. It's done then. See you soon and try to enjoy the day rent free, baby. Well, you know, they trying to make up like this fight is going to happen. It's done, said, you know, another social media contract signing. You know, that's all we can say. Another social media contract signing. But this is funny coming from Kambosos. He has a very highlighted, you know what I'm saying, description up here. George Ferocious Kambosos. Hey, the name rhymes with his last name, but he is not one of my favorite fighters, Shouty. I ain't gonna lie to you. He is not one of my favorite fighters. But to Hitchins, fighting George Kambosos, it's okay. He just won the title. It's okay. But see, the one thing I'm confused about, Africa, is that you said you wanted to fight Teo. So why are you going back and forth with Kambosos? Both of them has an O at the end. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Their name has an O at the end. But guess what? They're Africa. You know what I'm saying? That O has been taken from both of them. Right? But I thought that you said you wanted Teofimo Lopez, bro. George Kambosos has lost to Devin twice. You know what I'm saying? He had his highlight moment, got the belts, couldn't defend it, and then went in there and had an opportunity to fight for a vacant IBF. Lomachenko stopped him, do all the dramatics, and now somehow, some way, Hitchins wants to fight. Hitchins wants to fight, and going back and forth on X with Kambosos. I just don't get it. You said you want Teo. Teo's the better option. Teo's a better option, bro. He's a bigger name than Kambosos. Kambosos had his tour. He collected his check. And the check he collected, I ain't gonna lie, he collected his check though. God damn. I seen Kambosos over there in Australia driving a Ferrari. You know, I know the Ferraris, they're probably a little bit cheap over there in Australia, I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? You can get a Ferrari over there at the price of a Kia over here, I think. You know what I'm saying? You can get them for brand new. I'm saying 1% interest. I think you can get them for like 30,000 or whatever. Yeah. 1% interest. But anyway, let's see how this all works out. That's all I can say. Let's see how it always works out. Because at the end of the day, I would rather Hitchins go directly into a unification bout. Why get a Kambosos under your name? You know what I'm saying? His claim to fame is beating the guy, right, Teofimo, and then losing to the guy that Teo beat. Huh? How does that make sense? Huh? You beat Teofimo Lopez, who beat Lomachenko, but you lose to Lomachenko by stoppage. I don't see how that's productive when it comes to advancement. Straight like that. I don't see where it's productive. Respectfully. You know what I'm saying? You beat Teofimo, but loses to Lomachenko. You beat Teofimo and then lose to Lomachenko, who Teofimo beat. I guess he'll get it right sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of O's. It's Lomachenko, Teofimo, Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, they still had their O. The one thing about Hitchins, you still have your O. Be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Be smart about it. I know Teofimo potentially has called out other names. And this is where I'm at with the Teofimo call out. Teofimo recently has called out other fighters. And he called out all black fighters too. I'm just saying, don't be mad at me. I think something else is basically occupying Teofimo's headspace, because he called out Ennis, Jaron Ennis, Gervonta Davis, and Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Once again, he called out Jaron Ennis, Gervonta Davis, and Terrence Crawford. Now, for me, I'm saying to myself, well, where is he trying to go with this? Because it was one point in time where Teofimo said the top rank can keep his black fighters. Right? Hold on for a second, y'all. Teofimo at one point in time said that top rank can keep his black fighters. And he felt some type of way. And I'm really curious to see, you know, if anything has changed. Because I'm saying to myself, once again, Teo has the platform. They gave him the mic. Of course, he's asked what's next and all this other stuff that's coming up. And Teofimo throws it out there to call out 3 black fighters. Not only that, this lineup of black fighters that he's talking about, I don't think the boxing fans believe that those fights will happen next for Teofimo Lopez. Now, one thing is for certain, is that both of these guys, all 3 of these guys would draw the attention that Teofimo is yearning for in the ring. Jaron Ennis, Tank Davis, Terrence Bud Crawford. Is it possible for him to get a Teofimo fight next? Well, we're just looking at the itinerary. It seems like nothing's there. Would the fans want to see a smaller guy move up and face Ennis? Just think about this. Just think about the breakdown now. I know it's early in the morning. It's taking a little bit of time to get cranked up, but would we want to see Ennis face a small guy? Because you all was complaining a lot about individuals like Tank calling up Lamont Roach, right? Teofimo's never fought at 47. So I want you to make up your mind real quick as to what you think this is about. That's why I say boxing fans, man, they're very much, hanging out. They enjoy, hanging out, lingering around the asylum. Y'all just complain about Lamont Roach, a lighter fighter. Joe Cordina coming up from a division. Well, that shit happens. Now, it may potentially happen again, but y'all gonna say it's Teofimo Lopez. But still coming up from a lower division if that fight's happen. If Teofimo Lopez come up from a lower division, you know what I'm saying, to fight Ennis, because Ennis, it's no way in hell that he can make 140. There's no way in hell he can make 140. So Teo had to go up to 147 to fight him. Period. Now for Tank Davis, he's been to 140 before. So does he get the same griping complaints? Not really, because he's been there before. He has a championship there prior with Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. We know Tank is not going to have a problem at 40, but it's all about the money being right for Tank Davis to fight Teofimo Lopez. And then when you get to Crawford, that's a whole nother story in itself, because Teo will have to move up 2 divisions. My assessment is this would be the least likely fight to happen. In my opinion, Crawford can do what he wants to do, but I don't think the fight would give him anything more, any more justification, any more crowning legacy. It wouldn't elevate his accolade status going in there beating up on Teo. It wouldn't. It's just Teo's want the paycheck. He never made $1 million, and he wants the paycheck. He wants that moment. Now, of course, we have found out that he's over there with Eddie Reynoso. Teofimo's over there training with Eddie Reynoso. So therefore, we should see a better Teofimo. Hopefully, if he's paying attention, listening, we should see a better Teofimo, because he's still young enough to make those changes. Now, what he selects to do with those changes, you know what I'm saying? Because these fighters saying, I think Teo made the point, it's like he had to get a different set of eyes, without going too much in detail. He had to get, he had to switch it up a little bit, this, that, and that. Okay. If you're going to switch it up and get with a trainer like Eddie Reynoso, you have to make the most of it. Okay. So these names that he called out here, it's a very interesting dynamic in this trifecta, because Jaron Ennis definitely needs a name like Teofimo, but will the fans give him respect? I think right now they just looking for Jaron Ennis to fight anybody with the name. You know what I'm saying? And Teofimo is a 2-division lineal champion. Former undisputed in franchise era 135. And also he beat the former undisputed Josh Taylor at 140. So that will complement Ennis more than anyone on this list right here. Out of the 3, it will complement Ennis the most. It will. As far as Tank, Tank can probably care less about fighting Teofimo Lopez, because, you know what I'm saying? I mean, him. What does it do for him? I mean, Tank is not gonna. He fight for a belt. He ain't trying to stay there and defend the belt. And then I already said, what I think about Crawford. Crawford absolutely get nothing out of this. No validation, no credit, nothing. Because he's at 154. He's considered a larger fighter. And regardless of what Teo says, he's not going to handle that weight as good as he think. He's not going to be able to move around. And Crawford go in there and put on a masterclass performance again with Teo. They're going to say, Crawford took advantage of this, that, and the other. Teo was too small coming up from 140. Even though Teo has put out a video that said what he was weighing 155 at one point in time. He said, I'm weighing 155 right now. Okay, that's cool. But that doesn't mean that you know what I'm saying, you're going to be ultimately ready to step in there for 12 rounds with a fighter with a much rangier boxing IQ than you are, that you have, Tio. We got to think about IQ. And at one point in time, you know, Tio IQ in boxing was respected. If he can recalibrate that, get back into the groove, you know what I'm saying, and start having some solid performances, cool. Because the one thing I can say about Tio, we can't say that when it came time for him to step up, he didn't do it. When it came time for him to step up back then, it happened. He beat Richard Coleman. Well, he beat Nakatani, he beat Richard Coleman, he beat Lomachenko. All right. He just lost to Kambosos, moves up, has 3 fights at 140, and then he ended up beating Josh Taylor. In that process of establishing his presence at 140, he had some shakeups. He did. You know, the Santa Martin situation didn't look good. Claggett situation didn't look good. I mean, he had some situations, some fights that just didn't make him, put him in the best light as far as being a competitor for the bigger names. But we'll see. We'll see what Teofimo's talking about with this. That's all I can say. It's not too much. It's not even a topic that really brushes my interest. You know what I'm saying? Because I would hope Crawford don't take it. Gervonta and Ennis, if they choose to take it, cool. Kudos to them. Kudos to them. That's what's up. I would definitely watch either. Real talk. I'll definitely watch either of them. I mean, look, to be honest, it has nothing to do with, you know, Bud calling out Canelo to move up. We're talking about the fight at hand. We're not talking about doing comparisons, trying to get into a full-blown debate about comparisons. You know what I'm saying? I was more so keeping it on Teofimo Lopez and the 3 fighters that's in the frame. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. And I stand on it. Teofimo moving up to fight Crawford is 2 divisions. I'm not going to go back and forth and say, well, you know what I'm saying, they was criticizing Crawford for going to Canelo. This is not an analogy I'm trying to make. I'm trying to say that Teo is coming from an even lighter division. Terrence at this point in time is in the heavier middle divisions. What is 154 called, Jesus? It's middleweight. Remember that. Remember that when you're tapping in, you know what I'm saying, whoever you might be, remember that. It's called junior middleweight. So Crawford's in the middleweight. You have 154, 60, and 68. Those are considered middleweight divisions, if you want to be technical. Crawford is a junior middleweight right now. So therefore, what? Teofimo moving up from what? Super lightweight? Do I hear lightweight in the sentence? It's super lightweight. He's a super lightweight trying to contend against a junior middleweight. Now, does that kind of pinch you a little bit to wake you up? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying, like, he's in the middleweight divisions. He's a junior middleweight at 154. Teo obviously taking a chance to move up to those heavier weight class would definitely be something different for him. Crawford has shown that he can move up divisions and handle them very well. As of Teofimo, we have no recollection, history, archives, you know what I'm saying, boxing annals. We don't know what pages to turn at the end of the day. All we know is we can go on YouTube and watch, you know, some of his most memorable fights. We can watch some of his most memorable fights, but Claggett isn't one of them. Martin isn't one of them. Do I still got it, bro? Bro, Do I still got it, bro? Tell me, dude. Give me 2 thumbs up if you think I still got it, man. Or keep your hands in your pocket if I don't. I mean, that's Tio, man. He was asking the world, do you still got it? I'm just saying, you know? You know what I'm saying? But I like when people, come back in on the different accounts and all that. But appreciate you leaving your information, man, and asking the question. It's all good. But hey, y'all, I just wanted to drop in briefly this morning. We'll do it again. We'll chop it up. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. Y'all hold it down. Peace.